Let's talk about the 5 love languages. When I was young, I didn't realize that many of my failures in relationships were actually due to differences in the way myself and my partner needed to receive love. It wasn't until I read Gary Chapman's book about the 5 love languages that I realized that even though I loved those people, we were wholly incompatible. I was unable to express love in the way my partner needed to receive it, and likewise, they couldn't express love to me the way that I needed to receive it. And so let's talk about the 5 love languages. The first love language is words of affirmation. If your partner requires words of affirmations to receive love, it means that they need to hear positive feedback from you. They need compliments. They need to hear how nice they look, what a good job they did, how much they mean to you, what makes them special, what it is that they bring to the table. The second love language would be giving gifts. Maybe you have a partner that understands how much you love them by the gifts that you give them. Some people require a third type of expression of love, which is quality time. Quality time is important to me. It means that the person that you're with makes you a priority, makes an effort to spend time with you, to have adventures together, even to just sit in the presence of one another and be still and enjoy each other's energy. It can be as simple as that. The fourth love language is physical touch. This is also something that I have a lot of value in my life, is physical touch. It could be hugs, kisses, holding hands, putting your arm around the other person, cuddling them, nuzzling your nose in their neck, just putting your hand on them. Physical touch means a lot to a lot of people. So what have we got so far? We've got words of affirmation, giving gifts, quality time, physical touch, and the fifth love language is acts of service. Acts of service could be anything, big or small. So let's say, for example, you've had a busy day, you've come home from work, and your partner is cooking a meal for you. That would be considered an act of service. Or if they know that, you have specific chores that need to be done at a specific time, maybe to help you prepare for company coming over, they would, help you clean the house or do laundry or just anything that shows you that they are thinking of you and that they are willing to do something on your behalf to express love to you. That would be an act of service. So once I figured out what these 5 love languages were, and then I sort of took took stock of how I would prioritize the love languages for myself, it became clear to me when I evaluated all of my past relationships that what I valued and what I needed in a relationship was very different from what my partner at the time needed. And the fact that we didn't express love in the way that the other person needed to receive it kind of made sense that that relationship didn't work. Even though I very much loved and cared for that person, and they loved and cared for me, we were not fulfilling one another's needs. And so once I realized the priority of the 5 love languages for me, and I figured out what my top 2 or 3 love languages were, when I found a partner who had very similar prioritization for those love languages, that was sort of the recipe for a loving, healthy, happy relationship. And I'm so grateful and so blessed now to have a partner that values the same things that I value, that expresses love in the way that I need to receive it, and likewise enjoys the love that I express to them in the way that they need to receive it. And so when you first get into a relationship with someone, or you first have interest in someone, it's very beneficial to have a conversation. Here are the 5 love languages. Here's what they mean. How do you like to receive love? And how do you like to express love? Because honestly, the way that I express love may be very different from what I need to receive. So one thing that I have learned about myself is that I really enjoy giving gifts, even though I don't necessarily like receiving gifts. It's really not a priority for me. Like quality time and physical touch and acts of service, those are like my top 3. But I really enjoy giving gifts. And so I actually have a partner now that not only like my top 2 love languages are also their top 2 love languages, but they also appreciate, when I give gifts. And so that was sort of like the missing puzzle piece to me, the thing that one of a handful of things that I wish that they would have taught in like high school or something like that. Because I feel like the relationships that I had when I was in my teens and my 20s, I could have just like cut out the fat really quickly, like, I know we're not compatible. Let's not waste years of our lives together in a relationship that's unfulfilling, where we're not happy, but yet we're too young and inexperienced to know that relationships could be so much more fulfilling, so much happier, and so easy. Like, the relationship is just easy. It doesn't take effort because the person that I'm with expresses and receives love in the way that I need it and I need to give it. And so even now as an adult, I see other couples that are married and they tell me how much effort their marriage takes. And I'm just like, wow, my marriage doesn't really take effort. I can just be me and my partner can just be themselves. And we really don't have to struggle to demonstrate to the other person how much they mean to us. Like, it comes naturally. And so I would highly recommend, if you haven't already, to either do research online and just, do a search for the 5 love languages and read up on it, or, buy Gary Chapman's book about the 5 love languages. Back in the day when I was a regular churchgoer, that was one of the books that they had for sale that would really help couples in a relationship. And even though at this point in my life I feel that I have sort of outgrown religion and more so taken on spirituality, the 5 love languages I still hold a lot of value and are still very applicable to life and relationships. And honestly, you can carry that knowledge even into the relationships that you have at work with your coworkers. Like, for example, I have a coworker that I've become friends with, and she needs words of affirmation, and she may not necessarily get those words of affirmation from her boss, but yet she and I can fulfill each other in that way. Just understanding that that is like a priority for us in the workplace. Like, obviously I don't need physical touch in the workplace, but quality time with my peers and words of affirmation from my peers, or even acts of service, those could be things that are important to me in my relationships in the workplace. Whereas, at home with my partner, I need physical touch and quality time and acts of service. And so, these are tools that you can take with you and apply to any type of relationship that you have. And once you figure out what those people in your life require for themselves to feel valued, you can then begin to express love or admiration, or even just caring of their general well-being by understanding what their needs are in the form of their love languages. Basically means, what does that person need to feel valued? And how can you express to them that you value them and how much they mean to you in your life? So if you find yourself having difficulties with relationships, could be, with a classmate, a teacher, a friend, a coworker, a boss, your lover, a parent, a sibling. It could be anybody. Once you figure out what that person needs and express it to them in that way, your relationship could benefit greatly. And it could greatly strengthen that relationship and strengthen that bond. And, that's one thing that I've found is very important, even in the workplace, is being able to build trust and strong relationships and, just collaborate with people from other teams and other walks of life. And so, I highly recommend doing research on the 5 love languages and figuring out how you can apply them in your life to build stronger bonds with people.